Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to OSBA TV. Got a doubleheader for you tonight. We're in Hamilton at Hillfield School alongside Joe D'Agostino, Anthony Guile on hand. Women's action. First off in our first game, we got Excel Hoops versus Lincoln Prep here. This is my first time seeing Excel Hoops this year and the time I've spent in the OSBA. This is the first season. I got to watch Lincoln Prep earlier in the year. Joe, any thoughts on these two teams heading into this game?
Well, when you look at their records, it looks like a mismatch, but Excel Hoops, this is an opportunity for them to maybe have a late push in this season to maybe lead into a good play-in game at the end. So they have to start strong. They have to play well, especially defensively. We know Michaela Carter is their leading scorer, as well as some other players like Hayden Samardi, who's averaging around 10.4. So they need them to come up big, but they also have to play really good team basketball if they want to have a shot to maybe take control of this game early on.
And for Lincoln Prep, once again, another phenomenal year. Of course, back-to-back champions in 17 and 18. Last year falling short in the playoffs, but Richard Nurse once again leading a phenomenal team at 10-3, and this team is as deep as any team in the OSBA.
And they're dangerous, and they've won 9 straight. They started the season 1-3, and it looked a little bit odd. Like you said, they were champions 2 years in a row before last year, and starting 1-3, it looked like they made a jolt of energy started after that. They won 9 straight. They're kind of locked in at the 2 seed right now. Niagara Prep at 13-1. It's going to be hard to catch them. It's going to be hard to fall to the 3 seed as well, but if they can continue their momentum into the postseason and into this game in general, they got a good shot to maybe bring another championship.
Early foul here. 0-0 still on the clock, on the scoreboard. Excel Hoops brings it up now. Excel Hoops out of Brampton, Ontario. Shot from the corner, no good that time. And a foul on the floor again. It's 2 early ones here. Toussaint to inbound here for the Huskies. Jaden Wells coming in, averaging 11 points per game for this Huskies team. Second leading scorer on the team to this lady right here, Jamie Foreman. Off to McGrath. Wells to the shot clock winding down. Now they're going to call a late whistle here.
It was a late whistle, but that was still pretty good defense by Excel Hoops. And if they can play like that throughout this first quarter and maybe get some good offensive possessions, that's the start that they exactly need.
Foul on Brianna McLeod. Good side to Welts. Up to Foreman. She's going to take the shot off the back of the iron that time and rebound by Excel. And a foul here. Labordi Sutton going to head to the line for the first time tonight.
And I like the idea of pushing the ball forward there. You get the rebound. Don't hesitate and try to set up your half-court offense. Try to get those numbers. And like that situation right there, you're getting to the line, an opportunity at 3 points.
Sutton on the year, averaging 6.1 points per game. Not a great free throw shooter on the year, only 37.5%. And she goes 1 of 2 at the line that time. Jaden Welts over to McGrath. Stolen that time. Here comes Excel. Amarty. Smith looking to do something with it here. Crossover in the lane. Missed the net that time, and back comes Lincoln Prep. Welts to take it up now for the Huskies. Stolen that time. Here comes Amarty, and she gets tripped up by Foreman.
And that's a couple of possessions in a row for Lincoln Prep. A little sloppy on those passes on the perimeter. And right now, Excel Hoop, they're baiting and they're taking those steals whenever they have a chance.
Almost 2 minutes into this game, no field goals yet for either team. Here's Amarty, second leading scorer on the team, 10.5 points. Here's the leading scorer, Michaela Carter, sees a lane, gets the foul. Nearly a three-point play that time.
And for XL, it seems like they're just pushing it inside right now. They're not really looking at the perimeter shot. They're getting good looks. They just haven't really been able to finish, but this is their second opportunity at the free throw line. This is a good start for them, especially defensively, causing some turnovers, moving in the fast break. Lincoln Prep, though, we don't expect them to be this sloppy on the offensive side the whole game, so they are going to have to clean it up offensively for XL Hoops.
And XL Hoops has got to like this sign here, or like this site here, I should say. Jamie Foreman, already two early fouls. Just saw Jada Granum come in. Man off the mark that time. And Lincoln Prep comes away with it. Here's Welts. McGrath. Back inside to McGrath. Missed, but a late whistle again that time. Kirsten McGrath gonna head to the line. 9.7 points per game on the year. Joe, you mentioned earlier how Lincoln Prep has been on quite the winning streak, but it's only going to get harder as the games go on. They had a relatively, I don't want to say easy schedule at the start of the season, but it's nothing compared to what their last games are going to be like. They still have Crestwood and Niagara Prep and Crothers there at the end of the year still in their schedule.
And the concern about that, though, is you don't want to look ahead. Even though this game you might see on paper, oh, this is going to be an easy win, there's never such thing as an easy win. You have to go into every game assuming they're going to give you your best, and you're right, their schedule coming up is hard, but they got to worry about what's in front of them right now tonight.
Here's McGrath for three. Can't take the lid off the rim, but a rebound that time. In and out. Tucson couldn't finish.
Both teams just can't buy a bucket right now. Just the rim is not.
And Welts is surprised by that call, to say the least.
They're definitely playing tight right now, the refs. They're not really letting too much contact happen in this game. We've seen already a couple calls, a little late calls that we're wondering if it really was much there, but it seems like throughout this game we might be seeing a really tight game called.
Well, Joe, we're not even 5 minutes in, and Lincoln Prep's two leading scorers have three fouls combined. Not a good sign here for the Huskies and Richard Nurse. Three-point shot here for Carter. No good that time. It's still no field goals made yet here for either team. McGrath inside to Tucson, going to work in the post. In and out. Rebound, no good again. Ladino couldn't get it to go.
And a lot of these shots both these teams are taking, they're good looks. It looks like they're getting what they want. They just can't finish and they can't execute. And if you're Lincoln Prep, I think for both teams you can look at it on the same standpoint on you can't keep letting both of these teams kind of stick into this game because it could be disaster for either one.
Carter inside. Dosa, who just checked in. Carter steps in. Three-point line, no good that time. Offensive board. Carter doubled now. Inside to Dosa. Nice find. Gets it to go off glass. And finally, the first field goal made by either team, Bree Robinson.
And that was great ball movement, continuing to swing. Once the double came, there was always going to be someone open. They continued to move the ball until they finally got the perfect shot. And like you said, we finally got someone on the board with a field goal.
Tucson up top. Finds Welch, looking to go to work inside. Nice cutoff that time by Excel. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Another late possession, and Tucson gets it to go on the baby hook off glass. Tough shot that time, bit of a bailout. Excel working on the left side again. Carter, a little bit of space here for three. In and out that time. Rebound and the foul. Brianna McLeod.
And right now, Lincoln, they're trying to cause that turnover. They're doubling. They're trying to put some sort of pressure to force XL Hoops to cause a turnover, but instead they're making the perfect passes, and even on the miss, the offensive rebound and getting to the line on the end one. An impressive performance by XL Hoops in terms of their discipline.
And can't complete the three-point play that time. Well, it's going to take it up for the Huskies again. Knocked away by McGrath. Here's Toussaint. Welts, short again that time. Nearly travel. Offensive foul, though, they're going to call. I thought either one could have been called there that time. Looks like she shuffled her feet a bit, but she also lowered her shoulder.
And this has been really impressive. XL Hoops, they've impressed me with their defense so far. They're playing commitment on the person in front of them, and they're not budging. And even when they get an offensive rebound, no forcing the jump on the inside, keeping their hands up, making sure they don't draw a silly foul, and it's been working for them so far.
It is early, though, Joe, and Richard Nurse just substituted a lot of his starters out, and that's a big reason why they are 10-3 on the year, that they always stay fresh, and when the fourth quarter comes around, that's really when they step up and make that extra push, because they're so deep, right? And their starters are always going to be fresh for the big moments.
And 100%, we could talk about how great defensively XL Hoops is playing, but this is not a one-quarter game. They're going to have to play like this through all 4 quarters, but what I think is important for them, just worry about what's in front of you. Don't worry about how you're going to be playing in the fourth quarter right now. Just make sure you play good in this first quarter.
Nearly turned over that time. Recovered. And Bostic gets it to go. Full court press here. Now they lay it off. Carter looking to go to work inside. Misses the layup that time. Back comes the Huskies. Nice outlet pass. Bostic ahead of the pack. And it just goes out. Rolls off the rim, but Lincoln Prep gets bailed out that time, and that's definitely one Summer's going to kick herself about.
And you said that Lincoln Prep got bailed out, but so did XL Hoops because they kind of slept defensively there. They let a wide-open layout. Unfortunately for Lincoln Prep, they couldn't finish. But then on the flip side, couldn't finish on the rebound, and you're giving Lincoln Prep another opportunity.
Bostic nearly stolen. It is now. Here comes Bree Robinson. Up top to Carter. That's a lot of space. And she gets the shooter's roll that time. Michaela Carter, the leading scorer for Excel.
And like you said, she's the leading scorer. She hasn't hit her shot so far, but eventually it's going to go in. You can't give her that much separation.
Bostic misses the shot that time. Summer only coming in averaging 5.5, but her numbers don't really do her justice. When she off the bench, Summer Bostic is one of the best players in the OSBA.
And I think even to your point earlier, with the numbers that you see on their team, it's not super flashy, but you can tell that this is a well-built team. There's a ton of players that can come in and make a difference for Lincoln Prep.
Carter up top once again. Gonna go to work. Stops. Mid-range shot. In and out that time. It was a beautiful move, but couldn't get it to go on the jump shot. Well, it's an outlet pass. Chateau floats it up. No good. Keep it in, and Bostic comes away with it. Well, it's guarded by Carter. Well, it's got to get a shot off. Shot clock winding down. It's stolen again. Comes Excel with the layup. Misses the easy layup that time. Welts looking for a screen. Loses her dribble. Good hustle that time by Bree Robinson. It will stay with Lincoln Prep, but got to give credit where credit's due.
You can just tell right now nothing is coming easy for Lincoln Prep. They're just playing they're playing almost a press defense on this side of the court, and it's just making everything extremely difficult. And on the flip side, XL Hoops, they've missed some gimmies, but they are still getting looks that they want.
And interesting now, Michaela Carter taking a seat for the first time. See if Lincoln Prep takes advantage of that. She's really been the one creating all the shots for this Excel team. Missed that time. Bostic with the rebound. Can't finish again, but another offensive rebound here. Bostic has space. Step back. Can't get it to go. A lot of missed shots here in this first quarter. Another open look for Summer. And she finally gets it to go for 3. Boy, that's got to feel good for Summer. Bernard gets it to go on the floater. Keely Bernard. Chateau looking for a screen. Finds Steinauer. Steinauer finds some space. Nice pass inside. Chateau's going to end up with it at the top. And she gets it to go for 3. 2 threes in a row now for the Huskies.
And I think XL Hoops, they'll take that shot anytime because they're really trying to make sure everything inside isn't going to be easy for Lincoln Prep. But that's 2 straight threes now. They've had good looks, and they've been able to capitalize on them.
And Excel Hoops has been getting great looks so far in this first quarter, but unable to finish a lot of these layups at the rim. Bostic going to work once again. Nice find outside for 3. Off that time. Inside now, Adosa nearly loses it. Pass outside. Bernard with the ball again. Got to get a shot off here. Strong drive. No good, but Khan's going to head to the line for 2.
And I think that's something that XL needed right now because, like you said before, that they're missing some gimmies right now. They're getting the looks inside, but they haven't been able to finish. Now getting to the free throw line, maybe kind of calm yourself, ease into it. You've been playing great defensively. Offensively, some of these shots that you know you can make just haven't been hitting. At least try to build some momentum at the free throw line.
1:22 remaining in the first quarter, 11 all here. It's really been a defensive game so far.
It's been a defensive game, but it almost feels like XL Hoops, they've kind of dominated this game despite the 11-11 score. Just defensively, they've been smothering Lincoln Prep, and nothing's been easy. While on the flip side, XL Hoops has been getting the looks on the offensive side of the court. They just haven't been able to finish.
1 of 2 at the line that time. Checking into the game now is Rosario Ramiki. Chateau picks up her dribble. Stolen now. XL Hoops comes away with the ball once again. Amarty. XL fans here calling for a foul. Amarty passes it out. Too strong that time, and a turnover once again here for XL. Both teams haven't been able to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, a ton of turnovers, but it's kind of been the story of this game. Like I said earlier, Lincoln Prep, they're just not making smart decisions. While for XL Hoops, it's kind of almost like they're the ones who are committing the turnovers on the offensive side, while they're the ones on the defensive end also being the reason.
Great play that time in the pick and roll, just unable to finish. Marty stepping back, looking to go to work here. Pulls back, gets some space beyond the arc. In and out. Here's Khan. Bernard now. In the corner, gets it to go. Beautiful shot that time by Manic. Amir Manic only averaging 1.1 points per game, but great looking shot that time. Winters gets it to go off glass. Bernard's got to let it go. And that'll be the end of the quarter. XL Hoops leading 15-13. You're watching OSBA TV. Second quarter action about to get underway here in Hamilton. Lincoln Prep trails by 2 here at home to XL Hoops. And XL really having a pretty good quarter that time.
Yeah, it was a great quarter, especially defensively. They're probably not pleased with how they played on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, forcing turnovers, making difficult shots, forcing them to take the 3 instead of take those easy looks inside. But both teams really need to capitalize on those gimmies underneath the basket.
An interesting move here. Richard Nurse putting all of his starters back out. Tucson misses. And I apologize if I sound like I'm sniffling on the broadcast here. I am a little under the weather. And if I sneeze, I promise I'll go away from the mic. Toussaint. Inside, nice drop step, misses. There's Foreman on the rebound. 2 offensive rebounds here. Looked like a lot of shuffling of the feet that time, and they're going to call a foul.
And for XL Hoops, they're really struggling on the boards right now, especially on the defensive side. A ton of second chance opportunities for Lincoln Prep. They just haven't been able to finish on any of them. But here, they're going to get 2 shots, so good opportunity for Lincoln Prep to tie the game. One thing we should mention, too, that final shot by Lincoln Prep in the first quarter kind of gets some momentum to cut that lead, even though it was only a 4-point game. I think that was a good momentum swing for them.
Lauren Audino at the line. Really feasting tonight on the offensive glass so far. Gets to go at the line, and it's tie game now at 15. Interesting move here by Coach Nurse. Trapped in the backcourt. They got to get it out, and a travel call. That's as good of a defensive play as you're going to get.
And if you're XL, you need to run back to the ball there. There was 3 Lincoln Prep players right in front of the inbounds pass, and only 1 player for XL Hoops. You need to get to the ball and try to run back to it.
Nice defensive play again by XL Hoops. Here's Ramiki. Picked up now. Drive inside, cut off. Good job by Adino to kind of force that shot away from the rim.
And I think for Lincoln Prep, continuing to play the press on the defensive side is smart because you can tell they have the height advantage. It's going to be difficult to find those lanes and find those players.
Welts. Here's McGrath. It was a good look that time. Well drawn up play, but a miss. Here's a Marty. Cut off that time in transition. Here's Ramiki again. Drive inside on the baseline. And at that point, Joe, you got to get a shot off. Toussaint, strong drive, no good. No call. There's a call, and they're going to call a blocking foul. Seen a couple late whistles here on this side down the floor.
Yeah, that was definitely a late whistle, and for Lincoln Prep, this is kind of the start you wanted. Kind of force your will on the inside, get those offensive boards, drive to the basket, try to get to the free throw line, and an opportunity for Lincoln Prep to take the lead. And it's been a while since they've had it.
And Hallie Burns, head coach of Excel Hoops, of course, their inaugural year, have a chance at the playoffs this year, at least a play-in in the playoffs this year. It would be a huge success for this team. First year in the OSBA.
And like I mentioned earlier, they're last in the division right now, but they're in a tough division, and they're only 1 game out of the next spot. They could make a run here. If they win their next couple of games, or at least finish the season strong, they have an opportunity at a play-in game. When you look at the East Division, it's not very strong after the top 3 teams, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
8-10 in the second quarter, 18-15. You're watching OSBA TV. We're going to take a quick break. Welcome back. We'll go Excel Hoops. Travel call that time. Looks like she was unsure of what she wanted to do there.
Yep, some indecisiveness.
Yeah. Still early in this game, 18-15 for Lincoln Prep. Foreman over to Welts. Nice pass inside. Granum to McGrath. Well drawn up play that time.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play. A ton of movement, a ton of players touching the ball and just making something happen.
Stolen by Welts. Sorry to cut you off there, Joe. Welts inside to Granum. Gets it to go. Now Lincoln Prep starting to feel themselves.
And you cut me off, but you basically said what I was going to say. The press is just working so well. And again, we're seeing you need to run to the ball if you're XL Hoops. You can't make this difficult.
This is a risky pass that time and turns into a turnover. And you're going to get Michaela Carter coming on. And I think that's exactly what Hallie Burns needs to do right now. In that first quarter, Michaela Carter really had control over this game.
Yeah,
and made a lot of decisions for XL Hoops.
The ball ran through her, and defensively too, she was one of the reasons why they were so good at causing those turnovers. They just seem flustered right now. I think that Lincoln Prep kind of found that formula on how to play well right now, and XL Hoops needs to find that counterpoint.
Another pass inside that time results in a turnover now, and Welch takes it right back. And here's Toussaint in and out again. Good recovery that time by Excel, but they got lucky on that Toussaint miss. She doesn't usually miss easy layups like that. Welts inside. Brings it back out. Strong drive. Draws contact. No foul that time. Foreman couldn't get it to go. Here's a Marty. Marty looking to pull the moves. That's an open shot for Carter. No mistake about it. They needed that one. First points of the second quarter.
That's exactly what they needed. They needed Michaela Carter to come in and just make a statement, provide some positive energy for this team because nothing's been working in the second quarter, but that was a fantastic play by their best player.
Foul drawn there, and Welt's going to head to the line. Jaden Welts on the year, 80% free throw shooter. Doesn't miss much from that range.
And I think one thing, if you're XL, you have to understand that I don't think you're going to hold Lincoln Prep to play the way they did in the first quarter of the entire game. I think what's important for them is to make sure when Lincoln Prep has those runs, you sustain them with good play on the other side as well. You can't let just completely take over a game and make it like it's already over in the second quarter. So if you're XL Hoops, a couple good possessions here and there while Lincoln Prep is feeling it would be a good start to staying in this game the entire way.
Trapped in the backcourt here. Nice find. Dosa, good patience that time and gets it to go. 23-20, three-point game. Granum in the corner. No good, and McGrath, strong offensive rebound that time. Tipped away and stolen by Carter. Carter pushing the pace now for Excel. Jump shot, good off the glass. Welts. Welts has some space here, decides not to shoot. McGrath. Looks like it's going to stay with Lincoln Prep here.
And what a difference it just made in these past couple of minutes, putting back in Michaela Carter, a three, a couple good fast break opportunities, forcing some steals on the defensive side. You can tell she really is the major difference maker for them to stay in this game and pull off the upset.
And they're going to need Michaela Carter down the stretch because I was just taking a second look at their schedule here, Joe, and they got a tough few games coming up here. As step back by Wells, and she trains it. That was beautiful. Well done that time. But as I was saying, they got TRC next, who are very competitive, and they got Kings Christian, Niagara Prep, and then Kings Christian again. All teams fighting for a playoff spot right now. And, of course, we know what Niagara Prep can do. Rebound here. Welts. Jaden Welts, strong drive. Looking to make it 2 for 2 here, and she gets it to go for 3. Jaden Welts starting to get hot here.
And that was a terrific response to what Michaela Carter did on the flip side. Seems like she's the spark that Lincoln Prep needed to kind of have that come back as Michaela Carter misses the 3.
Bostic. Certainly not afraid to get her shot. Loses the ball that time and turnover again. That time it was Ferguson Dugas. Couldn't hold on to the ball. Bostic to take it up now here for the Huskies. 4:25 remaining in the first half. Foreman. Bostic looking for a screen here. Got to get a shot off. Foreman wide open up top. And Excel Hoops got bailed out that time. Granum looking to power inside. Jump ball. Of course, Brampton not too far from here, Joe. And got a lot of I should say a lot of Excel Hoop fans here. I was about to say Brampton fans, but I guess you can call them that because Excel Hoops is located in Brampton. You would know something about Brampton, eh, Joe?
Yep, that's my old stomping grounds. Grew up in Brampton.
So there's no bias here, is there?
No bias whatsoever.
Here's Carter. Strong drive inside, stripped away that time. Good job by Winters. Simone Winters taking it herself. And she draws the foul. Good aggressive play that time by Simone.
Yeah, and that was a great individual effort to even just draw the foul. It looked like she was going to get kind of stuck before even getting to the paint, but a nice little move to find some separation and get 2 shots.
No good on the first attempt. 28-22 for Lincoln Prep. And just a reminder, it's just the first game of our doubleheader coming up. Bill Crothers versus, of course, Lincoln Prep here. Coming up next, a battle of the reigning MVP and so far what's looked like to be the future MVP after this year's 3-point shot here. In and out off the glass and draw the foul. And it's going to be very interesting next game. Of course, you got Jefferson Koulibaly going against Kobe Elvis. It's going to be one of the best games of the year so far, at least on paper.
Yeah, premier matchup, and I think both of us were talking before even this game. We're excited for that game at 8 o'clock. It's going to be one terrific game, but this one's kind of shaping up into a close game that on paper, like we talked earlier, it didn't look like it might be a close game, but instead XL Hoops, they're really playing well, and they're keeping themselves in it. And honestly, that's all you can ask for is if this entire game you're constantly chipping away and staying in it, if you have a shot in the fourth quarter to catch the upset, that's the best you can ask for sometimes.
Just give yourself a chance to win, right? The thing about Excel Hoops, they're playing with house money this year. It's their first year. No one's expecting them to be great, but if somehow Excel Hoops gets to the playoffs, I think that's a very successful year so far.
Yeah, 100%. It's we know that there's a ton of stiff competition right now. We know Niagara Prep 13-1, Crestwood 10-0, but sometimes it's not just about winning the championship. It's about building to future years and just building the confidence of these young student athletes. They need to build and grow as players, and sometimes having adversity starting 4-10 and an opportunity to close out strong, that's a success in a lot of people's eyes.
Bernard, foul, clear foul that time. Dickton going to pick up the foul here. Looks like they're going to call it on the floor. I thought she was in the shooting motion that time. Bernard to inbound now as well. Out to Carter. Carter looking to go to work. Good individual defense by Winters. Strong drive off the glass. Lamise Khan with the drive and the finish. Bostic. Crossover, step back. Oh, what a move by Summer Bostic. And hangs the gooseneck after, just to let him know. Bernard. Oh, beautiful spin move that time. Wow, Ferguson Dugas. Great answer. Bostic now guarded by Carter. Got some outstanding moves in the last 2 possessions by both teams. Winters. Loses the ball that time, recovers. 5 seconds. Bostic's got to get a shot off. Inside, in and out. And they get bailed out once again as it goes off the feet of Akili Bernard.
And after two great plays by both teams, a little bit of a sloppy possession for Lincoln Prep, and looks like there's going to be a couple substitutions here for Lincoln Prep. And you said it best, kind of bailed out on that rebound. It looked like she had it, but just couldn't finish the play. And extra opportunities for Lincoln Prep could end up being the downfall for XL if this continues to happen all game.
Bostic picks up her dribble that time. Dickton over to Bostic. They got to get a shot off here. Chateau from deep range. Missed the net that time, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. 1:44 remaining, 32-28. Seller's done a great job of not letting this game get out of hand.
Yeah, hanging in there in the second quarter was huge for them. It looked like Lincoln was starting to kind of separate themselves early in that second quarter, but a good response when Carter came in for XL, and now it's kind of a little back and forth by both teams. Should be a pretty important minute and a half here to close out the second quarter to see who can maybe finish strong. An easy look there for XL Hoops. Great play design.
Like you just said, cutting it to a 2-point lead, under 90 seconds now remaining in the first half. Upshaw inside to Bostic, gets to her spot. Can't get the shooter's roll, but draws the foul. 2 shots coming up here for Bostic.
And Summer Bostic, she's made some pretty huge plays in the second quarter. You mentioned that her stat line on the season doesn't really translate to how important she is for the team. She's showing it so far in the second quarter.
And Bostic good on both. Ramiki to bring it up for XL. Here's Bernard. Jab step. Baseline. Good defensive play that time by Chateau. Offensive rebound, hustling for the ball. They get it out. Back up top to Ramiki. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Blocked that time by Bostic. The Huskies come away with it. 55 seconds remaining in the first half. Chateau. Goes around the defender. A held ball. That was a little bit of a quick whistle that time. Looks like she stole it right out of her hands. I don't know if I would call that right away. Possession, Lincoln Prep here. Side. And a travel that time, and Excel will get the ball back here with 41 seconds remaining.
And for Excel, no Michaela Carter, no Cadence Amarty on the court right now. So this is an important minute. I know it's only 40 seconds, but with 2 of your best players not on the court, you got to finish strong and make sure you don't really let Lincoln get a couple easy baskets to close this half out.
Sloppy possession here again. Excel comes away with it. A lot of contact. 3-point shot off the mark. Tough fall that time. Chateau gets up under her own power.
How can it be on her? How can it be on her?
Lincoln Prep in the bonus. Chance to 2 free throws here. Chateau's going to head to the line. Off on the first that time.
And if this is a miss, Anthony, this is a major offensive or a defensive rebound for XL. They need to get the ball if they can't get it.
Right on cue,
like
Joe. They give it up. And they get bailed out with another travel call that time. Looks like it was on Nicole Chateau.
And what was so important about it is the fact that with 24 seconds left now, and at the time it was 27 seconds, you want that final shot. You're down by 4, an opportunity to cut it to 1 possession no matter what shot you get. I think what's most important, though, is to not throw a turnover and give them an easy basket on the other side.
I think you want to slow it down here. Only a 5-second difference between shot clock and game clock, and not a great shot that time. I think at that point you got to get your basketball IQ into the frame and Backcourt violation that time. And Excel Hoops will get one more chance at it.
And that wasn't a smart play by Bernard on the offensive end, but give her some credit for coming back and playing great defense and forcing that backcourt violation to give them one more shot.
Bernard try to cross her over. Kickball violation on Chateau. 3.5 seconds remain. Timeout here by Hallie Burns. Wants to talk it over. And just some thoughts on the first half here, Joe, so far as we head into the break after this last play.
Well, it's been an impressive performance by XL Hoops. We talked about it. Like, this is on paper, and you can say just in the game. It's a tough matchup. Lincoln Prep, they played 3 games ago, and they dominated. They won a score of 83-59. It wasn't a close game last time. So for you to come back just 3 games later and play much better on the offensive and defensive side, you're down by 4, an opportunity to take the final shot. And if you're Lincoln Prep, good sign in the second quarter after playing really poorly on both ends in the first to kind of start playing your game. The press really worked in the second quarter on them until Carter came in. So they found a recipe for success, but on the flip side, XL Hoops just as well for performance.
And you got to be happy here if you're Coach Hallie Burns. Michaela Carter sat here for the last 3 minutes on the bench, and Excel has held their own here, not let the lead get out of hand. And she's going to be well rested for the second half.
And I think that might be a key to this game to make sure that when their stars sit, they don't really give in a huge run.
They got a shot off that time, but no bucket. And that'll be the end of the half. 34-30 for Lincoln Prep over Excel Hoops. You're watching OSBA TV. Stick around for second half action. Welcome back to OSBA TV. We had an entertaining first half between Excel Hoops and the home team Lincoln Prep here. 34-30, the Huskies lead Excel.
And it was a little bit of a surprise by both of us, the fact that Excel Hoops was able to keep up with Lincoln Prep that entire half, and we'll see if they can continue it in these next two quarters, because they are going to have to play well in every quarter they play if they want to have a chance to win this game, and they've done that so far.
Tough shot that time, and back to Lincoln Prep it goes. And very importantly, Michaela Carter's got to have a big second half here. Every time she was in the game, it seemed like the game slowed down to her pace, and she really controlled it for Excel Hoops.
And because she's so good at passing the ball and kind of finding the open player on the court, they couldn't really play that full court press like they were doing when she was on the bench, and that was such a success for Lincoln Prep. So we'll see if they continue to do that as they kind of move forward for Excel.
And a forced turnover here. Richard Nurse, hands up. Why? It was a silly turnover that time. Here comes Amarty. Cadence Amarty going to take it herself. Good interior defense that time by Jamie Foreman. And Jaden Welt's going to take it up. McGrath going baseline. Good defense again. And here comes Michaela Carter. Going to take it in strong. Good choice that time. And gets it to go off glass.
And that was a 1-on-3, Anthony. She had no one to pass to, but she still drove to the paint and found a good look. She was able to make something happen. No hesitation on getting in and getting a good look.
Nice drive inside. Adino couldn't get it to go. Carter up the court now. Corner shot here. No good that time. Lincoln Prep looking to push the ball. Welch spinning. Gets it to go, despite the good interior defense that time. Carter guarded by Welch. Here's Sutton. Over to McLeod. Strong drive. Nice find inside. They missed the open layup. It was a golden opportunity that time. McLeod. Amarty couldn't handle it. And back to Lincoln Prep it goes. Golden opportunity that time, Joe. Unable to hit.
And those are the shots you just can't miss in a game like this.
As Foreman comes and responds. Quick 4-point swing here after that made basket to start off the half by Excel Hoops. Carter draws the foul. No bucket. They're going to call it on the floor that time.
And that was close. It looked like it could have been.
Looked like she picked up her dribble. Surprised they didn't call the basket that time.
I think the quick whistle kind of went to a disadvantage for Excel Hoops there, because if it was just a little bit later, I think that would have been a shooting foul. But needless to say, they'll still get an opportunity to run their offense and get a good look.
Here's Amarty. Guarded by Foreman. Marty, hesitation inside. Blocked that time. Marty diving for the ball. Should be possession. Excel here. Looks like they're calling possession Lincoln Prep, but from my memory personally, it looked like the last jump ball in the first half was. Regardless, back to the game. Here's Jaden Welch. McGrath. Up top to Granum. Foreman finds Welch. Healthy look here from outside. Off the front of the iron. Back comes Excel. Strong drive. Blocked that time again. Granum 2 blocks in a row. McGrath pushing it for Lincoln. Good cutoff that time. 3-point shot. Foreman couldn't hit. No bounce. And Toussaint there on the offensive boards.
And you need to get the board there. Everyone was just staring at the ball instead of actually trying to get the rebound. And there was no one to contest Lincoln on that offensive board.
Lincoln getting into the passing lanes now. 40-32 here. 3 minutes into the half, and Excel Hoops only 1 field goal made here.
And this is what I was talking about earlier in that first half, where Lincoln's going to get those runs in this game. What's important is to shorten them as quick as you can. Make sure you can sustain your own run after they maybe get 3 or 4 baskets in a row. And this is a big possession for Excel to try to counter that. What
a strong move, but everything but the finish that time. They've got some pretty good opportunities here. Nothing going in. McGrath adding to the lead, and just like that, the lead has ballooned up to 10 points here. And Excel Hoops has really done a poor job here of getting the ball in bounds.
And you can almost feel like whenever Lincoln Prep starts making those shots, starting getting to groove, that's when they start going into that full court press because they know that they kind of have them on their heels. They're unsure of where to kind of go with the ball, and that's when you result in those big turnovers that they've given so far.
Hallie Burns bringing in a smaller lineup here, perhaps. There's some more players to get in the backcourt quicker on the full court press. And here's Carter. 15 seconds on the clock. Stepping back. Nearly cut off. Adosa using the power that time and blocked by Granum. That should be a kick ball there. No call. And it'll go possession. Excel Hoops here. They'll get a new possession. For your Excel Hoops, you really need a bucket here to cut into this 10-point lead. Not sure what the discussion is about here. Just had a jump ball a few minutes ago. Went to Lincoln Prep. Should be Excel Hoops ball here.
And you can already tell with the way that they're setting their defense, they're putting two people right beside Michaela Carter. They're trying to force someone else to move the ball forward as there's going to be a turnover.
Shot clock violation that time. And Lincoln Prep has really controlled this game so far in the second half. At least the first 4 minutes of it. Foreman. Inside to Granum. Strong drive. He gets it to go off glass. And this lead has potential to become out of hand here, Joe. Carter. Nice move that time by Sutton. Too strong on the pass. And I thought she should have just went up with that one.
Yeah, it looked like she had a good look on the inside, but she went for the outlet. She went to try to pass it on the perimeter instead. It goes out of bounds. And like you said, it's starting to get away from XL. This has been a really poor start on both ends for them, giving a lot of easy looks on the inside. And on the flip side, someone other than Michaela Carter is going to have to try to beat them on the offensive end.
Offensive rebound again. Awkward shot that time, going back to Excel Hoops here.
And you can tell, it seems like they're already trying to put two people on Michaela Carter right at the inbound. They're trying to make sure that someone else inbounds the ball because they know that Carter's been the one who's been pushing the ball down the court. If they stop her from kind of moving the ball inside, that could be a huge success for Lincoln, and that's exactly what we've seen in this third quarter.
That should have looked like there was a lot of contact on the arm that time for Carter. But I think the adjustment has been here for Richard Nurse, that not allowing these Excel Hoops players to get a three-point shot here, really guarding the perimeter well. As that time, Lamise Khan draws the foul. See Summer Bostic coming to the game now for Lincoln Prep. Along with Steinauer. And no good on the second that time. Nearly stolen by Carter. Good job to get in the passing lanes.
And I think that's how it's going to kind of start to get XL back in this game. They're going to need to turn their defense into offense like they did in that first quarter. They were getting a ton of steals, turning the ball over, running in the fast break. That's what led to so much success for them. They need to start to do that in this third quarter.
Foreman to Bostic. Going to get her shot here. McGrath, no hesitation, but no good that time. Excel Hoops could use a hoop here. Carter decides not to drive the ball. Three-point shot, no good. Offensive rebound. Turned over again, and Bostic pushing the pace. McGrath Foul drawn that time, and McGrath's going to head to the line for 2.
Good one.
4:31 remaining in the third quarter here, 44-33. And as weird as it sounds, I think Excel Hoops really needs to get their fan base back into it here. They travel well, and it seems that they have the same amount of fans here as Lincoln Prep does. So, like I said, as weird as it sounds being on the road, I think you need to get a couple plays here, get your fans back into it.
I think what's so important for them is they just need something to go right. Right now, defensively, nothing's really working too well for them, and they haven't bought really a bucket in the past 4 or 5 minutes of this third quarter other than the free throws. So they need to kind of get something going offensively, whether it's a big three or maybe an and one, something to just rejuvenate this team and their fan base here on the road.
And that's not going to do it there. Another turnover. Granum backing up. Misses that time. And it's going to go back to Excel Hoops here. Carter immediately double teamed. Bernard had a strong first half. Haven't heard much from her here so far in the third. Back up to Bernard up top, guarded by McGrath. Kahn. Carter, they got to get a shot off. Carter gets it off. No good that time. Granum with a strong rebound. Comes Steinauer. Bostic gonna shoot it herself. Too short that time. Looks like it's gonna go back to Lincoln Prep here. And the refs turn it over here. Amarty. Tough defensive play. A 3-second violation here.
Just nothing easy for XL Hoops right now on the offensive end. Just that defense we saw from them in the first quarter and a little bit in the second is exactly what we're seeing from Lincoln Prep. And it's going to be tough to beat it right now. They're going to need the ball to bounce their way a couple of times, I think, to maybe try to build that momentum again.
Well, what's really telling right now, Lincoln Prep hasn't been scoring much here, but Excel Hoops is yet to make a field goal here in the second half. 3:22 remaining in the third quarter, and Richard Nurse and the Huskies have done an outstanding job on the defensive end so far.
And it's not, and I'm not about to say that Michaela Carter was the only one who was doing anything in that first half, but right now in this second half, their key has obviously been double her, let someone else beat us, and no one's really kind of stepped up to the plate so far. They still have a full fourth quarter and 3:22 to go in the third, but they're going to have to start to kind of play with some sense of urgency because the longer this deficit stays at 12, 11, or 10, the less time you're going to be having to make a comeback.
Come on, let's get it stopped. Let's get it stopped. Good job.
Inside to Granum. Nice give and go with the inbounder. That was beautifully run that time.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic play.
Finishes. Turned over that time, and Bostic comes away with it. Bostic, strong drive, and gets it to go. And a well-needed timeout coming here for Hallie Burns and Excel Hoops. We're going to take a timeout here, 50-33. Lincoln Prep to start to take over. Welcome back here to third quarter action. We're first of 2 games here at Lincoln Prep. Inbound here in the full court press, still applied by Richard Nurse. And another turnover, nearly another turnover. Sutton outside. And Marty now. They need to get a clean look here. 3-point shot for Sutton. It looked good coming out of her hands, but not strong enough that time. Nearly stolen again, but they're going to call a foul on Bostic, and she can't believe it. And out of bounds that time again. Excel Hoops has been out of sorts here, to say the least.
Yeah, they haven't found an answer for Lincoln Prep's smothering defense, I guess is what you can call it right now. They're really giving no space, and you can't really blame them for playing this tactic of defense right now because it's been working as almost it goes in there.
Caden to Marty now with the ball up top. Nice shot that time. Finally unlock the chamber and get a bucket. Rosario Ramiki.
And now you got to play great defense. You got to force something good on this side. You can't let that huge basket for your team kind of.
Oh, tough fall that time, but blocked. Good job that time by Sutton. Got to slow things down here for Excel. Set up your offense. And Marty says, forget that. Let me take a shot. Missed that time. Chateau. Cut off that time. Strong move by Granum. Beautifully done that time in the post by Jada Granum. The board Sutton. Three-point shot for Bernard. No good, but gets her own offensive rebound. Misses again. And it's going to go back to Lincoln Prep.
And I don't think they have to be shooting threes every possession, but those threes where you get those good looks is going to be necessary to come back in this game.
Substitutions once again here. You're going to get Michaela Carter back on the floor for Excel Hoops. Jamie Foreman, tough screen set there by Tucson and throws it away. 52.5 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Up top now, Carter. Shot. No good again. Sutton with the offensive board. Marty, tough pass that time.
And again, a great look on the perimeter for XL Hoops. They just can't finish right now.
Bree Robinson to inbound. 32 seconds remaining in the half. 3-point shot here. Missed everything again. Marty hits the rim. Not sure why the ref is blowing the whistle here. It hit the rim. Should be possession. Excel Hoop. We're going to call it that, but I think the ref missed that one.
Yeah, it could have been a really costly miss, too, if they didn't kind of converge and decide that it did hit the rim, because from the looks from our vantage point, 100% it hit the corner.
The ref's talking it over still. Tipped out of bounds, stays with Excel. Crossover, Carter. Step back three. Missed again, and there's a Marty hustling for the rebound. And out of bounds here. And it will stay with Excel. So the refs finally figure it out here. Inbounded. Tanea Smith. Out of bounds by Amarty. 5 seconds remaining. 52-36 as the quarter winds down here. And it has been all Lincoln Prep here in the second half so far. Bostic about to come back into the game. Summer, Euro step. No good that time, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. We really saw Lincoln Prep take over here, 52-36. The Huskies lead. Excel Hoops. Stick around for fourth quarter action. You're watching OSBA TV. Welcome back. You're watching OSBA TV alongside Joseph D'Agostino, Anthony Gaio on hand. And Joe, it's been a tough first 3 quarters here as Tucson hits again. And for Excel Hoops, what do you got to do here in this fourth quarter?
It's tough because I kind of...
Certainly is tough.
I alluded to it kind of in that third quarter. Someone other than Michaela Carter is going to have to kind of provide a spark for them, because in that first half, she was kind of doing everything on the offensive side. And then in that third quarter, they started to double her. She wasn't the one bringing the ball down and setting up their half-court offense. And after that, no one could really kind of make some space, cause some separation, and make something happen on the offensive end. And when things aren't going like that on the offensive end, now your defense starts to suffer because you're dejected going back into the defensive side. And you can tell right now Lincoln Prep, they have their handprint completely on this game, and it's hard to see or envision this fourth quarter going any differently. But again, one possession at a time and is the best you can do if you're XL.
Well, it's no good that time. Offensive rebound. Tucson, 2 possessions in a row. And Joe, getting back to your point, any quarter you score under 10 points, it's got to be missed shots, but also great defense here by this Lincoln Prep team. I think Richard Nurse made the appropriate adjustments at halftime, and it really showed in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. And, going into this game, we're talking about a 4-10 team taking on a 10-3 team. we know that there's going to be a mismatch there. And, credit where credit is due to Excel for in that first half. They were right there, but sometimes just the better team is the better team, and that's kind of what we saw in that third quarter progress, and what we're kind of seeing now in this fourth quarter is another easy layup for Lincoln Prep.
Lead is extended to 22 now. Sutton spinning inside. No good again. Fighting for the ball here. Three-point shot. Off the mark. Ooh, hard fall that time. Good to see Welts okay there. Heard that one.
Yeah, that looked like a rough fall, but she seems okay. And if you're Lincoln Prep right now, obviously the game isn't over yet, but we mentioned they won 9 straight after starting 1-3, and they have a tough road ahead of them. And a win like this, if they can finish this off the way they played in that third quarter, can give you a ton of momentum kind of heading into that tough stretch for them. When they're trailing Niagara Prep in the standings, they're 13-1, they're 10-3. They're going to need some help. Niagara Prep's going to have to fall off a bit for them to kind of steal that bye from them. But the only thing you can control is the games in front of you, and that's exactly what they've done in the past 10 weeks, or the 10 games, I should say.
And the overall standings in the women's division this year, I'm very impressed with. Yes, Crestwood is the cream of the crop. They've played 32 OSBA games and have won all 32. We get that, but the top 3 teams in either conference are above 500, and I think that's very impressive. Of course, you got Bill Crothers, they got Callie Wright and a bunch of players on their team that could compete. Capital Courts, the reigning MVP, and Marissa Russell, and Kings Christian is always there to compete. They got the reigning coach of the year on their team, and we know what Niagara Prep brings to the table. So, I think. Yes, like I just said, Crestwood is the cream of the crop, but I think a lot of teams have a chance to really take that next step this year once playoff comes around and dethrone Crestwood. And Niagara Prep almost did that back in December.
And not to mention the fact, too, you can bring this up in any sport that's single elimination. You can always catch a team, and if you play great the entire season, you show those glimpses of championship-level caliber play, you never know, especially when you get into that tournament. Sometimes it's all you got to do. Just get in the tournament, and things can go your way. And Lincoln Prep, it's gone their way 2 years out of the past 3, so you can never count them out come playoff time.
And I remember last year, the OSBA Finals, the women's game, Capital Courts versus Crestwood. It looked like Capital Courts was going to win that game, and it came right down to Aaliyah Edwards hitting 2 free throws at the end, giving them a 74-72 win. And that game was everything anyone could imagine, and I hope that's going to be the case again this year. And
that's looking like what it's shaping up to be. Obviously, it seems like it's very top heavy this year, and that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier with XL Hoops. They're in last, but if they finish this kind of second half of the season strong, they could get into a not an easy play-in matchup, but a matchup that you could potentially win and kind of just get in the tournament. And sometimes just getting into the tournament is a reward in itself.
And a timeout coming here for Hallie Burns. We're going to step aside for a moment as well here. Back here, 7:32 remaining in the game, and Lincoln Prep is really taking control of this game since the start of the second half. Excel is still yet to score a point in this fourth quarter. Carter inside, and she draws the foul here. And coming up next for Lincoln Prep, they get some time off. They're not back in action till the 4th of February. They're going to be right back here as Crestwood comes to Lincoln Prep. And then the last 4 games, they're on the road. Go face Central Tech. That should be a win there, I'd assume, against the last team in the league. Gets Niagara Prep. That's going to be a tough one. Then TRC, and then, of course, Bill Crothers at the end of the year. Lincoln Prep definitely doesn't have it easy near the end of the year, but they've had a favorable amount of home games through the first half of the year, so they're going to travel on the road leading up to the end of the season on the 20th of February.
And I think any team in any league prefers to close the season out with some stiff competition because it kind of gives you some experience for the postseason and what you should expect. If Lincoln Prep can finish this season strong, there's probably going to be no one, maybe other than Crestwood, who's going to be walking into the playoffs with just as much as momentum as them.
Side, and Bostic gets it to go once again. Drive inside, no good. Cloud tripped up, no foul. Here comes McGrath to Bostic. And Chateau finishes it off. This has been a very efficient half here for Lincoln Prep. Dosa misses once again. Here comes Steinauer. Simone Winters getting set to check in for Lincoln Prep. Strong drive. Outside, missed everything that time. Chateau trying to come up with it, but Carter comes. They're going to call a foul on Nicole Chateau.
And on that play, they didn't score, but you can kind of just see what they were doing in the second half and what made them so successful. Moving the ball, getting a good look, but right when the shot is taken, no one's kind of turning back into the fast break and setting up the defense. Everyone crashes the boards and tries to get that rebound, and that's what's been killing XL Hoops this entire game. Even when it was close, those second chance opportunities has been killer and just such a focal point for Lincoln Prep, and one of the reasons why they have such a substantial lead now.
Sutton. Bernard back up. Top now is Excel. Sutton. Floater. Good shot that time. Strong drive. Foul on the play. And Joe, me and you'll be in Brantford tomorrow. The OSBA game of the week. Father Henry Carr goes down and faces Rise Prep. That should be a great game.
Should be a great game. We were there for not FHC's last game, but 2 games ago when they took on TRC, and we expected it to be a good game, and we saw the upset. So FHC, who kind of bounced back against Lincoln Prep, who we'll be seeing in just a little bit, but it should be a good game tomorrow. Rise Prep beat Southwest last week as well. They played really well on their home court. It should be an exciting one tomorrow.
Yeah, we got treated to a great game last time, and this is actually, it's going to be a lot in the standings, because if Rise wins, they
close that gap.
They close that gap. They won't jump them because they have 5 losses in their column, and Father Henry Carr only has 3 on the year, but that would be big for their confidence.
And that the difference between the 3 and 4 could be a huge difference. That could be the difference on maybe playing Southwest Academy in the play-in and Lincoln Prep. So
right.
We're talking about a massive difference maker tomorrow for the game of the week.
And Thornley is starting to catch fire now, so you got to watch out for them. Yes, they're 3 games back of Rise, but can't count them out. And of course, Crestwood, it hasn't turned out the way they want it to be this year, but they have a lot of talent on that team, and there's still a lot of season to play for a lot of these teams.
100%.
4:30 remaining in this game. As time winds down here, 67-42. Bernard, good find inside. That was one of the better plays Excel Hoops has run so far.
And that's a couple
today.
possessions in a row. They hit the 3 on the previous possession, then a good look inside. Finish these 4 minutes strong and just kind of leave the game, even though with the dejected feeling of not winning it, at least knowing that you played some good basketball in the final stretches could be key for XL Hoops moving forward for the rest of their year, or for at least their next game.
Nice spin move by Steinauer that time. Couldn't get it to go off glass. And it's going to go back to Excel Hoops here. And just another reminder, Bill Crothers is here for the second game against Lincoln Prep. Lincoln Prep coming off 2 straight losses. Really, both teams are on complete opposite sides of the spectrum right now. Not in standing-wise, but how much they've played. Lincoln Prep already have played a few games so far in the second half of this year in January. And Bill Crothers hasn't played since midway through December.
And you can kind of play both sides on that one. Is it a detriment that you've been off this, a little over a month now for Bill Crothers, or is it a detriment to the fact that Lincoln Prep, they played a ton of games in this last couple of weeks, they might be tired while Bill Crothers is fully rested. So it's going to be interesting how that kind of game plays out in the early stretches.
And of course, the marquee matchup of the night is the 2 point guards. The reigning MVP and Kobe Elvis, who last seen at this gym dropped 40-plus last year while he was on Southwest. I had the pleasure of calling that game. Went to overtime. Of course, Tyler Sagal dropped 47 points in that one. It's one of the most entertaining games of the year last year. And with the way both of these teams score, you got to expect that it's going to be similar. And I mentioned Kobe Elvis, but Jefferson Koulibaly this year has been outstanding. A walking double-double, averaging 31 points per game with 10 rebounds. At the guard position, 10 rebounds. That's impressive. And he's second in the OSBA in assists as well, which is outstanding.
I was going to say, and just throwing another 6 assists and 3 steals to that number as well. He's been unbelievably impressive. And this could be a big night for Lincoln Prep. A win coming up here for the women, and then the men having a huge game after. This could be a really successful day for Lincoln Prep.
And I think what I think a lot of people look over is, yes, Jeff's three-point shot hasn't been great this year, but he's scoring 31 points on 46.5% from the field.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He's been impressive. And same with Kobe Elvis. He's averaging just under 24 points per game, and he's shooting 50% from the field. Not a great three-point shooter, but just like Jeff, he's a streaky shooter. So if he starts to feel it from the outside, he can hit 1 or 2 in a row there and start to feel himself. But both of these players are great facilitators and really lead both of these teams into what's been a great position so far this year.
Yeah, really, really complete players. They don't just affect the game scoring. They facilitate really well. They crash the boards. They get offensive rebounds. They turn defensive possessions into offensive fast break opportunities. It's going to be a really exciting matchup between those two teams and those two players.
And I think me personally, and I think a lot of people are really excited about. Last year we got robbed that Kobe wasn't in the playoffs. Last year Southwest didn't make it past the play-ins, but now this year there's a good chance that both Crothers and Lincoln Prep will be in the playoffs this year, and 2 phenomenal players and 2 phenomenal teams that look to make a big push this year. Lincoln Prep, as the game winds down here, 2:45 remaining. Out of bounds. He's going to stay with the Huskies. Simone Winters.
Good job.
Nearly stolen it is now. Here's Amarty. Good cut off that time, a recovery on the defensive end by Lincoln Prep. No good that time. And a foul here. Oh, nearly slipped that time. Awkward play by Amarty, and Carter shoots it, gets it off. No good. Inside, and Carter falls. Looks like she hurt herself. Hope she's okay. She comes up hobbling a bit. Under 2 minutes to go here. And it's stolen, but stays with Lincoln Prep.
And I know with the final score looking like it's gonna be a pretty significant loss for XO Hoops. Some people may not believe in moral victories in sports, but I do think that there was a lot to take away from this game for XL. I think that first half, it's hard when you're playing a team like Lincoln Prep to play, 4 full great quarters on the road. And I think for that first half, there are positives to take away for this team, knowing that there's something to build here, especially when you talk about someone like Michaela Carty. She played fantastic in that first half. It's just maybe a little bit more about kind of making sure the players around her kind of play at the consistency that she does.
Stolen by Carter here. Coming up on a minute to play in this fourth quarter. Nice unselfish play to Sun. She gets it to go. Just a little too late here for Excel. The end of the fourth quarter here has been sort of what it was like in the first quarter for them. And if they kept that going throughout the game, I think this game would be a lot different than it is now.
And obviously Lincoln Prep playing a little bit more lax, a little bit more soft on the defensive side for them.
Of course, the starters aren't in either.
Yeah.
But as we're at 56 seconds now left in the first game of this doubleheader. Pass inside, no good. Charging call that time. Game starting to wind down here, 67-53. Lincoln Prep going to move to 11-3 on the year. And they still do have a chance to dethrone Niagara Prep and be the number one team. If they do go undefeated the rest of the year, they will take over Niagara Prep because they do face Niagara Prep near the end of the year. So it is possible. But, of course, they do have Crestwood coming up on their schedule.
Yep.
And that's easier said than done because no one has beaten Crestwood so far. Now the shot clock is turned off here, 23 seconds. Carter to bring it up for Excel Hoops. Very impressed with Michaela Carter tonight. Just the team wasn't there tonight. They weren't clicking on all cylinders. And that should do it here. Expect them to dribble it out. And that'll do it. 67-53. Excel Hoop falls short tonight to Lincoln Prep. Make sure you stick around for our doubleheader. Our second game of our doubleheader. Crothers versus Lincoln Prep should be a good one. You're watching OSBA TV.